Hey guys, welcome. So the room looks a little bit empty because we are getting ready to launch some new things at CrossFit Metro East, and that's why my guest Dill is with me today. And so we wanted to kind of tell you a little bit about that, introduce ourselves, and or introduce Bill to the community, and then kind of what services he's going to be offering. So first of all, just kind of a little bit of a background on you and I. So. First of all, some people don't realize because it's been so many years ago and I don't actually practice anymore. My degree's in athletic training, and I got that from McKendree University years ago. And Bill was one of my instructors when I was there. And just over the years, it's just developed to be very much of a great friendship of ours and colleagues and peers in our own industries. And so, yeah, it's been way longer that we've been friends for that. I care to comment on. I think I thought about this the other day. I was like, man, we've known each other for a pretty long time. So that being said, Bill approached me a few months back and on a new endeavor that he was going to embark on. And something for our listeners that may not realize this is that our gym, because of my background, I worked in a physical therapy clinic for 6 years. Prior to opening my own place. Bill actually got me my foot in the door there and actually got me my first job within the field of athletic training and physical therapy. And I managed the fitness centers there while I was there and did a lot of personal training. And so fitness was always a very big love of mine. But one of the reasons I went to school to be an athletic trainer is because I really wanted to be able to help my clients through injuries and issues, rehabilitation, and then for the athlete side of things, which is I thought at one point I was only going to train athletes, which was I came to a reality very quickly that that wasn't going to be the case. But I wanted to be able to take someone from an injured state and move them back into an athletic state, getting them back on the field. And so I felt like the combination of athletic training and sports medicine and my knowledge in fitness and nutrition was like a great mold. And that's something that even Bill has had over the years as well. Like we talk a lot about strength and conditioning, not just about therapy and athletic training and that. So, so we've always had just kind of this connection between injuries, rehabilitation, and wellness in our fitness programs. But it's always been through outside partnerships. We've worked with some chiropractors in the past. We've had physical therapists that we've referred to, and they've all been really great relationships. But something that's always been something in the back of my mind that I've always wanted is I wanted somebody within our facility that could help our clients not only improve, but then also just maintain fitness and active lifestyles long term. And the reality is most of our clients are of the population of 40 and older now. We even have a 55 and older program that we do. So we are very big on this longevity of fitness and wellness. And so Bill approached me not too long ago about this partnership that he wanted to kind of form and some stuff he wanted to do within our facility. But so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But Bill, maybe give us a little bit of background on you, like, sure. Tell us, where you're coming from and all that.
Yeah. So I'm a Southern Illinois guy. I born and raised in Waterloo, grew up in the St. Louis metro. So very familiar with the area, obviously. At this point in time, I actually live on the Missouri side of the river. Moved out to Lake St. Louis a handful of years ago, just to be closer to some work environments for my wife and myself and so forth. But my history as an athletic trainer, so I have 20 years or so of being a certified athletic trainer, working with a variety of populations. And that's something that at the time, I didn't realize how important it was to be working with so many different groups of people and populations and so forth. Much like you, I thought, like, look, I'm going to live in the athletic world forever and enjoy athletes and that environment and so forth. But the reality was, as I started a family and so forth, that athletic environment became harder and harder. Right. As you know,
sure.
Right.
For sure.
And, being gone and traveling around the world, working with these athletes and so forth, it just makes life tough,
Yeah.
with having a family. So, so then I got into teaching, education. Obviously, I was in that when you were in school, but
Sure.
really jumped in full time in that environment for close to 10 years, and was teaching athletic training, right, and accredited athletic training programs and so forth, and really missed treating people.
Yeah.
Right. Education. I love education. I love, and I really think athletic training goes hand in hand with educating people about their body, that education piece, but also helping them, be cared for in that environment. So, so spent quite a bit of time there, close to a decade in that education side, and miss treating people. And so that's really where, this Myo-Fit mobility and therapy company evolved from.
Yeah.
I started to reach out to some colleagues of mine and just talking about, hey, what's going on? What's new on the horizon? We saw some licensure changes that talked about athletes and the physically active individual really being the same definition within Missouri and Illinois, which really opened some doors to get into the physically active population using our skills as athletic trainers. So that's kind of how I got to where I am right now. But obviously, I wouldn't be here without talking about my family a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like, my wife's an athletic trainer. We met in grad school back in, oh gosh, I don't even want to say that number anymore.
It was, I'm thinking back to where, yeah.
Right? So went to Ohio University for grad school. That was after graduating from McKendree. I'm a McKendree alum, and went on to Ohio University, got a master's degree, met my wife there, talked her into moving to the Midwest.
She must have liked you a little bit, man.
Just a little,
Yeah.
thankfully. Yeah.
We just had a pause for station identification. We stole a room, and we're figuring it all out. So,
Yeah, for sure.
so anyways, so keep it up, keep it going there. Yeah.
Yeah. So met my wife in 2002 in grad school. Graduated from Ohio University in 2004. Got her to move out here. And that's really where it kind of began for us.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were married. We got married in 2007. Have a couple kids at this point. I have a 12-year-old son. Extremely active in sports.
Yeah.
I have an 11-year-old daughter, also extremely active in sports, and as we would expect.
Yeah.
Having two athletic trainers as parents, and so. So that's kind of where we're at today,
Cool.
And, I mentioned my wife is an athletic trainer as well. She was head athletic trainer at Missouri Baptist University for 16 years, and just kind of stepped back from that role, and still working in an athletic training environment. But so we live and breathe it in my household, as you know. My kids live and breathe it, whether that's good or bad,
whether they want to or not.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Sure.
During that time, after McKendree, so after I graduated from Ohio University, was obviously hired back at McKendree.
Sure.
And that's where we began our relationship, and spent 6 or 7 years there before moving on to take a head athletic trainer role here in Belleville, at Lindenwood Belleville.
Yep.
So was there for a period of time, and then went on over to the St. Charles campus.
Yep.
During that time, though, I also completed a doctorate degree at Lindenwood.
Yeah.
And
it's Dr. Dill.
Yeah. So I did that in educational leadership with an emphasis in andragogy, which people say, what?
Yeah. What is that?
Andragogy? It's adult learning. How does the adult learn? And we know that adults and children pedagogy, right? Children, they learn different.
Okay.
And so I had a desire to, obviously in education, to learn how adults learn.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what I studied, and really applied that in the athletic training field, and
Gotcha.
And so forth. And so that kind of leads me where I'm at today.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you came about to get connected with Myo-Fit. Maybe give a little bit of a brief history on like where Myo-Fit has kind of
Sure.
originated from, and maybe how their or what their involvement is in the gym space.
Yeah, so Myo-Fit is a company out of Indianapolis, Indiana, and they have two what they would consider their main clinics.
Okay.
Right, and so it really is a standalone space, and it's really kind of like any other clinic you might walk into. Right,
Sure.
as far as it's not really part of a gym.
Yeah.
Right. But they really started in that gym space, right?
Okay.
And they saw a need or a population that really loved to exercise, but also had injury, and they wanted to help those people with athletic training skills, using their athletic training skills. They wanted to help those people continue to be active, right?
Yeah.
Because we know one of the biggest things that causes people to step away from their fitness journey is pain or injury, right?
Yeah.
And we know people tend to step away from that for periods of time.
Sure.
Right. And some longer than others. Me personally, I stepped away for a long time because of just right shoulder pain.
Yeah.
I had some arthritic change in there, and didn't matter what I did, it always hurt.
Yeah.
And so it was like, well, am I better off not exercising?
Yeah.
Well, we know that's wrong.
Right.
Right.
But can you imagine though, like you stepped away from it and you have all the knowledge and abilities to be able to like care for that shoulder, and then all the resources that you go, hey, honey, could you help me out on this? Which I'm sure that maybe that's not as easy to do. But that being said, like you had all those resources available to you, yet you still found yourself in a place that like, man, maybe this exercise thing is not helpful, and I'm always in pain. So it's kind of discouraging when I go into the gym and I'm just hurting. Right. And so I can only imagine how that is for just general population who's trying to be active, whether they're on a weight loss journey or, a performance journey or whatever else. And they're sitting there going like, man, but this hurts and this hurts and this hurts. It doesn't even have to be gym related injuries, just like life related aches and pains. So, but where Myo-Fit comes into play is to kind of help with kind of curbing that and kind of making that connection between like, let's get you moving pain-free, let's get you moving in a healthier way, and then be able to stay active within your fitness journey.
Yeah. And so let me talk about that a little bit as far as like that part of me being injured and having all these resources available and so forth. Yes, I did. But like, sometimes the worst patient is us. Yeah. Right. Like as healthcare providers, it's like, I fix everybody else, but this will go
very
away.
little do we fix ourselves.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so I experienced that obviously. And that was kind of an interesting thing to reflect on kind of after the fact. It was like, why did I do that? Right. And so, but that also came for me, it shows the need of what we're doing. Yeah. Right. It's for sure. We may have all the resources, but we need somebody nudging us along to say, let's do the right thing. Yeah. But anyway, to back to that Myo-Fit, where we came from kind of thing. So they've been around for roughly 8 years out in Indianapolis, doing their thing, working with CrossFit gyms, working with the physically active and so forth. And they're at probably 6 or 7 satellite, what they call satellite facilities, CrossFit gyms, right? Where they're going in and providing care to those individuals. And that was really one of the reasons I partnered with them. Yeah. Right. Is why I wanted to be this bigger community of them, of Myo-Fit. Right. And why I started those conversations was, as an athletic trainer, we want people doing what they love to do. Right. And it just so happened it's been sport for so long. Right. Well, we need that in our daily lives too, and fitness journey. And not only that, but we know that our fitness journey carries over to our lifestyle journey. Definitely. Right. It's like, if I can't lift the groceries, we were just having this conversation the other day. If I can't carry the groceries from the car into the house, what good does my fitness do me? Right. Right. And if you can't do that, well, we need to find ways to figure out why. Right. Yeah. Sometimes we're not physically fit enough or capable, but other times it's injury. Yeah. Right. And let's correct those things so you can do the things you need to do from a day-to-day activity, but also the things you love to do every day. Yeah. That's huge. Yeah. So that's kind of where Myo-Fit's come from. Yeah. They are or we are, right? We're really expanding across the country.
Yeah.
So this location here in St. Louis base will be one of two of their first two branches or license that they're branching out.
Very
and
cool.
So, which we're really excited about because we really see or want athletic training out to everybody.
Yeah.
Right. We know we can help people.
Yeah.
And so to see us here in St. Louis, Indianapolis, and also down in Atlanta is so exciting.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about like, so what kind of services will you be bringing to clients here? Like what could someone expect from this that you?
Yeah. For most people, they probably aren't familiar with really what an athletic trainer is, unless they, maybe, had an experience in high school or college or whatever, where they had encountered an athletic trainer. But we're really bringing those athletic training skills, all of them, right? Okay. We're talking about things like injury prevention, right? We know if we can prevent injury, we're way better off from the get-go, right? And sometimes we know we have these nagging things and we just kind of blow them off because I'm not really injured, but I'm not moving well, right? And so if we could prevent the injury from happening and we catch those things early, that's big, right? Yeah. And so we do some movement screenings and some different things to assess our clients for dysfunction, right? Dysfunction that hasn't caused pain or injury yet, but it's dysfunction.
But it has the ability to moving down the road.
Correct. Yeah. Right. So that's one piece. Another piece is injury evaluation, right? So obviously once people are injured, we want to see them. We want to get our hands on them. We want to evaluate and have some discussion about what's going on, right? Sometimes what's going on is you just need a little kick in the bottom and it's you're okay. Right. Let's go work. Yeah. Right. Other times it's no, you have a real injury and let's discuss what that looks like moving forward.
That's awesome.
Right. And so sometimes it's care, sometimes it's referral.
Yeah.
Right. Like we know that we are one of the players, if you will, in the healthcare system.
Sure.
Right. We're not the only player and we don't have everything. Right.
For sure.
And so we partner with other folks to achieve those. Right. And so
I think that's a big point there. I try to share this with, I talk about it with our staff. I talk about it with clients. Very much so, obviously I have a background and understanding in injury evaluation and treatment, diagnosis, that sort of thing, but that's not something I practice anymore. Right. It's something I haven't practiced in, 8 or 9 years. And so for me, I really try to, talk to my clients about, it's important that I stay in my lane, as the exercise specialist here. But I do have some resources for you in these other areas. Like I don't mind, taking the first step with you, but after this, like there's another person in the place. And it sounds to me like you very much, rely on that model as well, knowing that like, hey, this is, I think about it, the person that, they get that little injury or something, and maybe it's not worth it to them. Maybe it doesn't cause enough problems to say, I'm going to go schedule an appointment with my doctor. Right. It'll just go away. I'll just rest it for 3 or 4 weeks, which drives me nuts because then they stop coming to the gym and then they didn't get better in 3 or 4 weeks. And now we're 4 weeks behind technically on, but like you're saying, hey, I can see you right away and evaluate, diagnose if I need to, if I can treat, or if, hey, you know what, honestly, I need to refer you out from something else. I mean, that's a huge benefit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's important for people to understand too, that, we have this skill set, but I rely on other relationships too, right? That are important.
Yeah.
Right? It's not come and see us, every week for the rest of your life.
Right.
We want to make sure we're getting better and out the door.
Yeah.
Right. And if it is something we're treating and we're not getting better, right, we need to have that referral pattern too.
For sure.
Right. And so, so those things are important.
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to hear that and understand that, because I think there are a lot of, or some healthcare providers out there at times that are like, I can do all, I am all, I can be all. When in reality, they have a skill set that's important, but maybe they're not the answer at that time.
Yeah. What would you say? So somebody wants to get with you, somebody wants to work with you. Like, what are there, I think you and I have talked a little bit. There's kind of a couple ways that someone would connect with you or kind of get in the door with you. And I think one, you already mentioned that whole side of like, all right, you just tweaked a hamstring out on a run.
Right.
You need to come see Bill. Like that's kind of an injury evaluation, but so that might be one way, but what are the ways that somebody would come and say, hey, I want to go see Bill. I want to just go check this thing out.
Yeah.
How would they go about that?
Yeah. So there's a couple of other avenues of service, if you will, that we kind of didn't talk about. We talked about those first two, right? Injury evaluation, you're injured or you think you're injured, schedule an appointment. It's going to be a 20-minute appointment. Let's get in here. Let's figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Right. And then let's talk about what it looks like moving forward.
Okay.
Right. Again, so some of that might be, I recommend care. Sometimes it might be, no, we're okay.
Yeah.
It scared you. Looks like things are good. Let's go about what we're doing. Nice thing is with our partnership here at CrossFit Metro East, that injury evaluation is going to be free for our membership.
Wow, that's awesome.
Membership.
Yeah.
Right. That's a $35 service. And we actually had a question in class right before we got together, right? That said, hey, how is that a one-time thing? No, it's not a one-time thing, right? It's important that we're looking at the folks that are here and trying to keep them healthy and moving. And if they have questions or concerns, we want to make sure we take care of them.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's get you in, get you scheduled, get you in. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Right. I talk about schedule, but there will be times where maybe I don't have a client that I'm working with and it happens, maybe right before you came here or just happened. Stick your head in. Yeah. Right. Let's take a look, while it's kind of fresh and let's see what's going on before we maybe have spasm or swelling and some different things,
Yeah.
So that's one avenue. Another avenue, like we mentioned, was that prevention piece, doing those movement assessments. We call it the Myo-Fit movement screen.
Okay.
So we can sign up for those. Those are an hour-long session, and we're really evaluating head to toe, right? Movement, looking for deficits, looking for areas that we can improve or we suggest improvement. So that's another piece. A third way would be just signing up for that new client consultation, which is going to be, again, we have the new client consultation is going to be an hour appointment because we're going to dive into your history a little bit. What's been going on with this injury? How long has it been going on? Really getting into the weeds of trying to figure out why that's going on. We're going to provide some care, and then we're going to talk about some home exercise plans as far as maybe it's rehab or strengthening or mobility, right? Okay. And so we're going to design those programs and get them into the client's hands that they'll have some homework. Yeah. Right. That's awesome. It's not just about this, what am I providing? It's about getting the client involved in their own care. Sure. And so, and we'll update those things as we see them, right? It's like, hey, how's your home exercise program going? Good. Everything's gotten easy. All right, well, let's move that forward. Yeah. Or maybe, hey, I can't really do this. It hurts. Well, let's see how we can regress those things a little bit to begin moving forward. Okay. Right. So that's another way. And then once we've kind of once we're into the system, from that perspective of new client consultation, injury screen or injury eval or movement screen, then we have our just 1 hour treatments, 30-minute treatments, etc. Right. Cool. And so those are just schedule based on your schedule, and we'll get you in and begin providing care in those. Now, in those treatment sessions, is there a recommendation? Like, so say I do an injury consult and then you might recommend, hey, I'd like to see you for 5 30-minute appointments to kind of work on this, or, hey, or does the client kind of have the option to say, hey, let me just, I'm going to schedule these. How does that work? Yeah, totally. Either way, totally can. There'll be some recommendations there, obviously, if we have injury or lacks of mobility or whatever that the goal of the clients is. Because again, that's what it's about. It's about how do we serve the client best, right? I'll have some goals when it comes to personal care, but really it's about the client's goal. Yeah. Right. And so I'll recommend that care, and they may, like you said, they may sign up for 5 30-minute sessions and schedule them out. Yeah. And we're work on. We're going to find those issues and work on them.
Yeah.
You know, in that time frame. There may be times where I say, you know what, we might be able to solve this in a session or two, and so that's all we might need.
Yeah.
Right. But I would say, generally speaking, for somebody who has, you know, a history of some mobility issues or history of injury, we're probably talking 4 to 7 sessions.
Yeah.
Before we really probably solve an issue.
Well, I think a good rule a lot of times too is like, the longer something's been going on, usually the longer it takes to kind of work through that. And so like, this would be my thing to the clients out there that have been telling me your shoulder has hurt for like 3 years, you know, probably book a new client consultation with Bill, not an injury evaluation, because this is probably a big thing. And you need to dig into that history a little bit. And it probably is going to take a little bit of time to treat that versus the client who just pulls their hammy out running a 400. That might be a quick injury evaluation. And it might be, you know, you might be able to get through that in a couple of odds and ends things that, you know, or, hey, follow up with me in a week and let's see where we're at.
Right.
But yeah, those lingering issues, and you all know who you are. But I'm one of them. That's why I'll be booking with them in no time. So, but yeah, I think that's a good point to make is, you know, there are some of those like lingering issues that sit around and it's going to involve more care than just a quick hit.
Yeah. And I think the reason for that, just to kind of quickly here, is when we have some of these injuries and we let them linger, right? We start changing our mechanics up and down the chain, up and down the body. Yeah. And we want to find those and solve those, because if we just focus on the site of pain, we're not going to fix it because we have problems up and down the chain that's going to continue to create that problem.
Right.
And so I think that's important to think about it as somebody who maybe doesn't have that knowledge, that my injury at my elbow is going to change everything.
Yeah. It's not the elbow pain,
my shoulder to my neck. Right. And so we have to address those things.
Yeah. I mean, it exists in our exercise, you know, plans with clients too. It's like, I can't just treat the symptom. Right. You know, yes, I understand that your heels are coming up when you squat, but there's 3 other pieces to this as to why this is happening. And so we got to dive a little deeper than that. That's a great point. Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. This will not be the last time we hang out on a podcast. I can guarantee that. Because I know we just have so much more to talk about, but this was a great, just kind of like quick refresher. We're going to get booted out of our consult room in about 2 minutes, but I've got my fast 4 here. Okay. Fast 4. I just created this, by the way.
Oh man.
So you're lucky that you got this ahead of time, even like, so you could technically kind of think about it.
I know, but I didn't, in fairness.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to go through, we got 4 quick questions. Okay. It's all favorites. Favorite food?
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Favorite show or movie?
Favorite show or movie? That varies on any given time.
What are you watching right now that you're enjoying? My wife and I go through seasons of things.
We do too. We just finished something. We love the Chicago series on.
Oh yeah, like the Chicago PD, Chicago Fire. Yeah. Chicago Med. Okay. Like yeah. All right. Dig those. All right. Favorite exercise.
I would have to say trap bar deadlift.
Yeah. All right. Got his young ones already doing it.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite cartoon character.
Roadrunner.
It's because you're so fast.
No, I'm not at all. I just love how he gets in trouble all the time, and but he keeps at it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it doesn't say anything really. Yeah.
Always getting chased and in trouble. Then and he's just,
is that like you're living vicariously through it, or is that?
I just think it's a fun old cartoon.
I like it.
That like there's so many intricate parts of that cartoon.
There's a deeper story there. We just haven't figured it out yet. Yeah.
All right. Because you got Wile E. Coyote, and then you have the sheepdog, which I can't remember his name.
I can't even remember the name. Yeah.
Right. And then so it's just kind of this.
All right. Hey, I like it.
A ton
it's all right. It's your fast 4. So you get to be you there. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, Bill, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Myo-Fit Myo-Fit Mobility and Therapy STL, or Myo-Fit STL Mobility, because you're on social media already.
Yeah. So on the gram,
it's
Myo-Fit underscore therapy .stl.
.stl. Got it.
Okay. You can find us on Facebook. Our page is Myo-Fit therapy or mobility and therapy.
Mobility and therapy. Okay.
STL.
Got it.
We'll have some others down the road.
Yeah.
Those are kind of our main ones.
Yeah, we'll have some connections to those links through our website, your scheduling page. All that stuff will start to kind of come out and roll out to our clients and to the public. That's the other thing too, is that this is not just a program for our clients here at CrossFit Metro East. You do not have to be a member here. This is something that is available to the public. So I know you've already, created some outreach relationships with some other organizations, some other gyms in the area. But yeah, so if you have any interest in this, and you want to find out more information, you can connect with us. I can get you in the right direction there. If you're a non-member of ours, no problem at all. You can always come in and see Bill and go from there. So, well, thanks so much for spending some time with me today, and we'll see you guys soon next week. See you guys.
Great.